All right, this is another great opportunity for me. I always feel like I'm the luckiest one that gets to do these, to meet people, to meet my friends, to highlight my friends, spotlight those that are doing great work. And that's what's happening today. Melissa Hain, who is here with me. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Hey Jay, I'm doing good for a Monday.
Good for Mondays. I love it. You have a great attitude. Well, it's so fun to reconnect, and it's just an opportunity missed to not invite you onto the Let's Talk About It. So let's talk about it. Let's dive in. You are Melissa Hain, and you started a new business, a new company. It's your own baby. You've recently joined the ranks of entrepreneurship and business ownership, and the name of your company is Moments and Merch, and I love that. That's so cool. Um, so I know that's a lot, right? For how long now? Has it been a year?
No, it's only been very short, since March. So,
Okay. Since
yeah.
March. Now, there may be some listening like, why would you want someone on your show that's been in business since March? Let me tell you why. There are, first of all, many reasons, and they're all good. Some are better than others. Your fresh eyes, your fresh perspective, doing it now, like this point in life, but also your story. You have such a great story, Melissa, because we met many, many years ago when you were kind enough to help me fumble my way through a LinkedIn learning session. And we were doing something for one of the businesses that you worked with because for years and years, you were supporting so many people in the promotional product industry. And that was kind of your role. It was a little bit, quote, behind the scenes, but it was very important. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about that. What were you doing before and how did you get here?
Yeah, so I mean, props to you, Jay, because one of the things about LinkedIn is I've talked to a lot of people recently, and when they ask when I started my business, for people that didn't know me, they're like, "Oh, it looks from LinkedIn, it looks like you've had a business for years." Because what I started using some of the tips you gave us, and as a creative outlet, I created a newsletter, and I've been keeping that up. So definitely built my personal brand, but my background is I've always been behind the scenes at a buying group. So I've been helping distributors market their companies. And the reality is, I'd always be like, I just don't understand why you don't spend more time on your marketing. And I'm in the trenches now. So I 100% understand why client work comes first and all of that. And then marketing yourself comes second when there's
It's
actually,
hard, right? Now you see you have
yeah.
that perspective shift. You're like, oh, okay. Juggling all these balls, marketing yourself sometimes isn't the first one. And it's sometimes but you have to do it. And you're doing a great job, by the way. And thank you for I'm going to take very little credit, if any. In fact, I better not take any credit. Your success is yours. And if I shared a tip with you on LinkedIn, hallelujah. But the reality is, you have it. You have it all. You are in this really cool space because you're not just entering the promotional products industry like many of the people that you used to serve. You've kind of brought in this other piece, and that's what I was really, really excited to talk about because um, it's bigger than just the merch, right? Oh, and
Yeah.
shout out to your newsletter. Really good, like really good. People need to read that. Tell us, share that. Where can people find on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, so I just have it on LinkedIn. It's called Elevate and Celebrate. And if I could, I'd change the name because Elevate, I feel like is overdone. But you got to keep what's working. So yeah, I just share, ideas for different things you can do at your events, what I'm seeing around, or sometimes I talk about my life, which is crazy. But it's just really laid back and just meant to be a quick read, and hopefully you get something out of it. So.
Well, you have a great perspective. You are very well grounded, and you're in the messy middle, right? You're raising kids. You're busy mom, wife, business owner, all the things. And so I connect. I get it, and I think others need to hear your story because, for one, I think people misunderstand what you're creating. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like you're doing more than just trying to sell merch. And so that's what I really kind of caught my eye after I read a couple of your newsletters, after we kind of connected again and talked before this event, before recording. So tell us a little bit about that. Let's dive in on that. Like a lot of companies are going to focus on events, right? You seem to have blended events almost like it's the natural, like these two go hand in glove. Is that right? Or am I misreading you?
Yeah, and actually, I think I tend to lead with events, and I'm your experience creator, as cheesy as that sounds. But when I was starting my business, I asked a lot of people like, what do you feel like I do? Because I have a hard time going from
Mhm.
being in the promo industry where we talk about activations, experiences, all that stuff all the time, to going outside the industry, and you're like, people aren't talking about this stuff day to day, right? So I'm really leading with the moments part of my business, which is I can plan your event. I can, do the theme, I can tell the story, and then the event is the vehicle that continues that story. And hey, we're really good at merch because we've been there, we've seen what works, what
Right.
doesn't, and we have these great, vendor partners. So I can get you the merch too, that people aren't going to leave in their hotel room. So I think it
Nice.
event first, and merch is the
Merch is
fun.
the complementary fun part that supports. I
Yeah,
love what you said. First of all, wait, let's go back to the beginning. What was this title that you said you gave yourself? You're creating
I'm an
experiences?
event
What?
experience creator, shall we
Yes,
say?
that's
Yeah,
great. There's nothing cheesy about that. Now, are you in Wisconsin? Because
yeah,
maybe that's why you said, okay,
maybe
hide the cheese factor in
all
it a
the
little bit.
cheese, all
But
the cheese.
no, but seriously, that's really good. And I love even more than that, Melissa. Hello, stop. You said creating moments. Moments. That's it. That's the thing. That's what's got me on such a high and such a buzz right now. Stop planning events, start creating moments. It's so smart. And that's what you're doing. And I think that's why I wanted to have you on the show. That's why I wanted to talk about this. Um, I think, I mean, tell me about that. Is that like you look at it that way? That's how you kind of plan logistics and theme, and you're like trying to create and deliver a moment. Am I right?
Yeah. So I think over the years, right, you start planning an event and somebody like your manager is like, okay, send me the schedule from last year. And we'll work our way backwards from that. And over the years, I just kind of got like, why do we keep just rinse and repeat? So I think that's where it comes in when finally, I think we had an event in Milwaukee in 2024, and I was like, okay, let's do things a little differently. You
Hmm.
know, it's really
Love
hard
it.
to impress people in the promotional products industry because we've seen it all, we've seen all the products. So I was like, hey, let's have a pop up merch shop and build our experience around that. Um, so I
Brilliant.
think it's really just, people are so concerned about how many people are attending the event,
Mm.
but you don't necessarily need hundreds of people at your event. I can count, there's so many times when it'd be like, okay, how many people are registered? We got to reach out and, get more
Mhm.
people to register. And I think it was just, that's how it was. And we were just
Mhm.
missing the mark. But people honestly want events that have less agenda and more like unstructured time to just be people. I mean,
Love that.
yeah,
Unstructured time to just be themselves, hang out, connect, have a moment,
yep.
learn, play, explore, discover, all those things. You are onto something, Melissa, I'm telling you. And I think that this is maybe a hidden gem. Um, well, first of all, kudos to you for stretching and breaking out of the mold and saying we need to do something different because that alone is scary, right? It's hard to break out and really try to, no matter what the theme is, you've got to extend past that to create. And it seems like you already touched on it. People focus on the attendance, the agenda, the speakers, the speaker gifts. I've had a
Yeah.
few. Um, some are awesome and some are like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, not making fun of anybody. It's not easy to do that. I recognize that more now than ever. I really recognize that there's a lot of logistics and those are important details. But what you seem to say, if I understood you correctly, you're trying to think beyond just that and say, what do we do to create these magical gifted moments, right?
Yeah.
And that's hard work.
Right. Well, and it's about my cousin owns a bookstore and books are having a moment. But she was talking to me the other day and she's like, why don't you bring a mobile bookstore into your event? Like that's where people connect, right? They'll talk about books, they'll find out what they have in common with each other, and then they'll connect afterwards. So it's about bringing that kind of stuff into events. And it doesn't have to be expensive or like off the charts. It just has to be
Mhm.
people doing something together that they can find that they have in common. It's
That's so great. Yeah, I would have never in 1,000 years thought of a mobile bookstore. So smart though. And it's that ability to be that creative. Of course, you know me and you know that I'm always going back to that kind of activation, that live printing moment in any kind, shape,
Yeah.
fashion, or format. And I still think there's a lot of value there. That's not over, by the way. We'll probably see 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 to 5 more years of that because there's so many ways to bundle that, package it, there's
Yep.
just endless opportunities there, which are cool, especially for end users. It's like you
Yeah.
said, kind of hard to impress somebody that's in the business. Although, listen, you did it. You did it at that Milwaukee event, didn't you? Like people are lining up to see the thing and press the press or watch it be sewn or watch the laser. And it's
Yeah.
still captivating. No?
Yeah, and to your point about the activations, people outside our world, they totally don't, not that they don't get it, but they've never experienced it. So I find myself like, I'm not going to talk about that on LinkedIn. I'm not going to like as much. And I'm like, but I need to be because no
Mm.
shade to these people, but I was at a chamber event the other day and somebody said tchotchkes and trinkets when they were talking about merch
Uh,
and at events. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, but I'm
yeah.
new, so I didn't rock the boat yet. But
You didn't crush them for saying that trinkets and trash. Oh, it's so
so I'll have
deflating.
that conversation when it's right.
Let me guess, they were a life insurance sales rep. Is that why they? No.
Um, Actually, construction and banking and some
Oh,
insurance.
that's okay. They're all coming from, we have to meet them where they're at, right? That's on us. Our industry hasn't done a good enough job yet at branding what we do. Whether we're in print or whether we're in apparel or whether we're promo or now whether maybe we're events. Maybe the whole
Yeah,
thing is an event, Melissa. I don't know. So but it seems like that's where you are. You're at the crossroads of where merch and events meet. I mean, literally, that's the name of your business. No, I mean, you're talking about and treating things like, yes, there's a plan, but this is more than a giveaway. This is kind of the
right.
whole experience. So how does that work? Kind of step us through that. Like, is it a 60-day plan, a 90-day plan? I mean, I don't want to get into the logistics so much as how would someone do this? You don't have to give away any secret sauce, Melissa. Just like I'm just
Yeah.
so curious. How does it work?
Well, I have like I call it, I guess, my story first framework, shall we say. And it's like the first
Mm,
question before figuring out where you're going to have it, who's coming, whatever. It's like, what story do you want people to tell when they're riding home, telling people on LinkedIn, Instagram, all their socials? So that's the first thing you really have to figure out. And then you have to figure out, okay, your messaging. I call them messaging pillars, right? Here's 4 things we want people to learn, whether it's through there'll probably be some speakers, experiences, all the different parts, and where can we plug them into all these different components into the at the event. So it's really just trying to tie everything back to the story through in
hmm
different ways, right? Then merch is part of it, and the one thing about merch I see often is like, okay, so you have a theme, and I am team theme. But like if you're just gonna have like it's a racing theme and you're just gonna have a race car stress ball because racing is the theme,
If that's
doesn't
as
really
creative
hit.
as you could be, yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be
So I
better
think
than that.
yeah, so I think just educating people on how really cool it can be.
Yeah, no, that's so good, so smart. I love what you just said. The pillars and lead with story first. So smart, so good. Love what you said about the working from story, getting the
Yeah.
story out, having those pillars, and then merch is one of the pillars. You want to have people experience it. You want to do something that's more than just a giveaway, like
Yeah.
just a token of, well, I went to this thing and I got this thing. Like that's never enough, right? We can do so much better. And it sounds like you are. So congratulations. Here you are. You're at the literally, you are waving your flag, waving your banner, saying, look at me, event leading with events first. And what a great companion that decorated merch can be in apparel decoration or promotional products or whatever you want to call that. What's your favorite word for that, Melissa? Do you have a favorite word? Do you say merch or swag or what do you say?
I say branded merch. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing, there's nothing, as long as it's not trinkets and trash, right?
Yeah. No, no.
Well, listen, the experiential side of this is what's got me so hooked. So I don't know about you, and I don't want to give away your secrets because I think you're going to be on the roll. You're going to be on the climb. You're going to go straight to the moon for the next 6 to 18 to many months as we can help you do that. As many months as you want to do that, it seems like you're on a straight ride up because of how you've positioned this. So kudos to you. I don't want you to give away your secret sauce, but it seems like leading with events is really smart. So I want to give you a huge shout out and a big compliment. Have you learned anything by doing that instead of the other way, leading with promotional products or branded merch?
Yeah, I mean, I think people a lot of times are like, "Oh, I already have someone for that." So it's easier to position yourself as, "Okay, well, let me help you with this part of it," and then naturally that kind of comes with it, right? So
Mhm.
I think it's a benefit because a lot of people do have merch vendors already, and that's great. But a lot of merch vendors actually are event planners if you think about
Yeah,
all the
in a way.
services, or they should be to a point.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what you're saying. Oh, wait,
Yeah,
let's not
yeah,
give away any secrets here.
yeah.
That's so
Or they can
smart,
have
man.
people like me help them.
There you go. They can partner up with you for sure.
Yeah,
That's
but
smart. Are
I
you
just
open
think
to
it's
that? Are you making that up or is that real?
no. I mean, I am helping with some end user shows and some different stuff already. So it's
Okay, okay.
you know,
I was like, wait, maybe you're not joking. There's actually something there. Okay.
yeah,
Well, listen, I want to end on a big positive. So looking forward, here we are, we're midway through 2026. I like to talk about things that are going to be like optimistic and lead us forward. Things evolve, things change. None of us have the crystal ball, but the best brands that I follow and listen to and learn from are constantly trying to evolve and stay different and do different things. That's why I compliment you again for the way you've decided to come to the marketplace. Leaning on your rich background of promotional products and supporting all of those businesses, you got to see how that execution happens. But now you're totally doing something different. I think it's really fresh. I think it's to be applauded. So, what's the one thing maybe you would leave us with? We're hanging out here. It's the let's talk about it table. You know, there's going to be tacos, probably some chips and salsa, maybe a few adult beverages. But what advice would you pass along? What would you say to someone? What would you say to your former self who started a business in March? Don't do it. I'm kidding.
I would I would say be the one that rocks the boat, whether it's
Mm,
with your customers, with your business. Do something different. Don't be afraid to try different things, because I think in the event world, that's what people are looking for. They want
that's
they
so
want a
smart.
reason to gather and meet other people, but they want it to also be fun. And I don't know, they just rock the boat would be my
Rock the
advice.
boat.
Don't
I
do
think
it
that's
the
great
same.
advice. Rock the boat. Create an experience that's going to be fun and memorable because I think that's really what I've learned through our discussion and through today's questions is that we can become the moment makers.
Yep.
And I think that you've done this great job of pioneering this new channel, this new lane, this new place of combinations where events and merch and memories all come together. And I think that's the big idea is look, we both know that the internet and now AI can overload us with endless information, literally infinite information. But guess what? The world doesn't need infinite information. What we really need is we need somebody that can give us the insight. We need somebody that can give us their opinion or their perspective or the judgment. And I think that that's rare, but that's what I think you're doing. I think you're delivering these killer experiences wrapped up in, a moment and saying, don't forget me, right?
Yeah.
Like in a sea of this noise, you're creating something really special. And I applaud you for that.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, what really like the moments thing comes from is my grandparents. I grew up going to their farm every single weekend, and the best times were around the kitchen table, like talking, the
Mm.
snacks were there, whatever. And I think that's the type of intimate, like, even if you have a large group, breaking people down into smaller groups, but that's where the changes happen. That's where the relationships are built. So, the kitchen table is kind of the thing I always have in the back of my mind is you want to create an environment where people are sharing the stories, sharing the gossip, not the gossip, but
Well, maybe a little, maybe a
how
little.
the old farmers are sometimes. But yeah,
That's
just keeping
awesome.
that in the back of the mind, and that's what people want is connection and memories.
Ah,
So,
let's end it there. People want connection and memories. Amen. Totally agree. Melissa Hain, you are fabulous in every way. Thank you for joining me. Moments and Merch is the name of your business. People can find you on LinkedIn. Melissa Hain, Haen. Did I get that right?
yes, yes.
Oh, okay. And so great, so lucky to have you join me. So let's, until we meet at the next event, let's have lots of fun moments.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Jay.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Alyssa.